If President Obama is ever going to find his voice on Sudan, it better be soon. These were the closing words 2 weeks ago of Nicholas Kristof, the New York Times columnist. I could not agree more with his assessment of Sudan today. To put it bluntly, the status quo in terms of this administration's approach towards Sudan is unacceptable. Time is running short. Lives hang in the balance, and real leadership is needed. Just last week, 6 NGOs that are intimately involved in Sudan advocacy and genocide prevention ran compelling ads in the Washington Post and Politico, calling for Secretary Clinton and Ambassador Rice to exercise, quote, personal and sustained leadership on Sudan in the face of a stalemated policy and waning U.S. credibility as a mediator. In that same vein today, I joined that growing chorus of voices in calling on the President to empower Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and Ambassador Susan Rice to take control of this languishing Sudan policy. They should oversee quarterly deputies' meetings to ensure options for consequences are on the table. In fact, as I call on the President himself to exercise leadership in this regard, consistent with the explicit campaign promises he made about Sudan, promises which to date ring hollow. Secondly, I urge the Obama administration without delay to move forward with its stated aim of strengthening the capacity of the security sector in the South. A good starting point would be to provide the air defense system that the South requested and President Bush approved in 2008. This defensive capability would help neutralize Khartoum's major tactical advantage and make peace and stability more likely following a referendum vote. Third, with regard to the elections, while they were a necessary part of the implementation of the CPA, an important step before the referendum, they were inherently flawed, and I believe the Obama administration should not recognize the outcome of the presidential elections. I'm concerned that the balance of power is shifting in favor of Bashir, and he has skillfully used the recent elections to lend an air of legitimacy to his rule. Fourth, in looking ahead toward the referendum, the Obama administration should come out clearly and unequivocally state at the highest level that the United States will honor the outcome of the referendum and will ensure its implementation. Fifth, the U.S. should begin assisting the South in building support for the outcome of the referendum. Sixth, the administration should prioritize the need for cessation of attacks in Darfur, complete restoration of humanitarian aid, including non-essential services, unfettered access for aid organizations to all vulnerable populations, and increased diplomatic attention to a comprehensive peace process, including a viable plan for the safe return of millions of internally displaced persons. Finally, the Secretary of State should appoint an ambassador or senior political appointee with experience in conflict and post-conflict settings to the U.S. consulate in Juba. During the campaign, then-candidate Obama said regarding Sudan, quote, Washington must respond to the ongoing genocide and the ongoing failure to implement the CPA with consistency and strong consequences. These words ring true today. Accountability is imperative, but the burden for action, the weight of leadership now rests with this president and this administration alone. With a referendum in the South quickly approaching, the stakes could not be higher. And these people who have been living in these refugee camps for 6 to 7 years are still living there. So I close with a slight variation on the words of Nicholas Kristof, quote, if President Obama is ever going to find his voice on Sudan, it better be now.